Hey guys, this is Kevin. Today we're going to do a quick install of a 5760 and a 3560 8-port switch and a couple of lightweight APs. So first we're going to configure this little switch just so that we have the APs connected to the switch, or excuse me, to the 5760 controller, and we can hand out some IP addresses for the APs and for wireless clients to test with. So I'm going to cancel out the initial configuration dialog and go in and just configure the switch. Now I already have a script over here that I'm just going to paste in. Setting the host name, username and password, DHCP pool for access points. What else do we have here? DHCP pool for clients. Some of this stuff might not be needed in your lab or exercise. I don't have a DHCP server, so this is what I'm going to use for it for this lab. I have two APs. They're connected to ports 7 and 8, and then the management network interface. You have to have a SVI if you want it to hand out IP addresses. So I got an SVI for vlan 10, which is going to be our management, and then vlan 50, which is going to be our guest. A couple login synchronous commands to make my life easier when messages pop up, and then login local to use that user account that we set up above. So let me copy this in. Now, one thing I will say, I don't have a port channel set up, so I'll go ahead and set that up real quick also. So I'm just going to do port channel 0. I'm not really the best port channeler guy, so let me go in. I'm going to do LACP. This is different than the old controllers like the 5508, where you had to do channel mode on, which is essentially no negotiation. Since this is going to connect to an iOS controller, I'm just going to set it up as LACP. All right, so that should be it for the switch. We got our APs connected, and then our controllers is port channel 2. So now I'm going to console into the 5760. So the first thing that you need to do is check your licenses and make sure you have license. If you don't have any licenses here, you can configure it, and APs will try to join, and it'll give you a failure message that database entry can't be created. So make sure that you have some AP licenses. This one has 50. It's a Demo Depot piece of gear, so I'm good to go here. And when you do this show wireless mobility summary, it'll tell you what role it is it's in, which by default the 5760 should be a mobility controller. I don't think you could actually set it as a mobility agent like a 3850. So all right, so this is a blank controller. Let's go ahead and start pasting in the important stuff. So if you notice here, it says that it's pointing to this 169. That's because it doesn't have a management interface to talk to the APs on. So the APs won't join because it doesn't have an IP configured in it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in some configs here. VLAN 10 again is our management. So I need to add in here VLAN 10. I should be able to just paste this in. Oh, well, let me get a VLAN 50. Actually, let me copy and paste this. So it looks like I don't have my VLANs in here. So I'll need to add this to that 3850 also. Okay. Alright, so now I have the management interface. It is up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell the controller to use that for the management interface for the APs to talk to. So as you can see up here, it was still, even though I created an interface, it was still, it didn't know what to use, so it was using the 169. This command here is going to tell it to use the VLAN interface number 10. So now it is using the 10.10.02. A couple other things I'm going to do. I'm going to enable wireless management. So I can manage it from the wireless. You know, I would say that's probably a security thing that you don't really want to enable all the time, but for my lab I'm going to enable it. Alright, so here's the WLAN config. It's going to be WLAN, then a profile number, and then the SSID that's actually broadcasted. So one thing to note about this is if you want your SSID to have a space in it, it won't take the command unless you put some quotes around it. So if you wanted a space in there, you'd have to put quotes. This is the VLAN that it's going to use. It's going to be VLAN 50 is what we have for clients. You have to disable enterprise WPA if you want to use a PSK before you can enter this command, and then you no shut it. So in this WLAN, there's actually a lot of defaults that you just don't see in the show running because it's a default. I think there's a command that will show you all of those, and we'll try that here in a second. See the default stuff. Alright, let me paste this in. So show WLAN summary. Alright, so we see it and it says it's up. Now looks like I got had a typo here. They're in the wrong VLANs. I had wrote up a script, and unfortunately I had a unexpected shutdown and it was not saved, so I apologize for that. Alright, let's put these things in the right VLAN and give them a description. So maybe I'm using the wrong command here. Okay. All right. So there, yeah, they got IPs. just a note too, in my config, I don't have any excluded range. So since I configured two IPs that are in this pool statically for the switch and the controller, you know, it wants to hand it out. However, what I've found is the Cisco DHCP server on the iOS will detect that IP is already in use and won't hand it out. Again, this is just for a lab, so I don't really care. But if you were going to do this in the wild, I would put the exclude to make sure you don't have overlapping ranges with your statics. But for this lab, not a big deal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write this config because I think it's fairly good. I'm going to plug back into the controller. I thought I gave this thing a host name. I guess I missed that part. Let's go ahead and okay. It's odd. This has some kind of DNS error or something. I've seen that before. I don't remember what it is. All right, so now the APs have IP addresses. We should have a port channel up with the switch. I do not see this port channel being up. No, I didn't create a port channel yet, did I? No, I did not. Okay, so I'm going to have to create a port channel for the other side of this. And what's interesting is that even though these are 10 gig interfaces, you can actually put in like a 1 gig. So I've got two 1 gig copper SFPs in here. So just keep that in mind. There's actually in the data sheet, it'll tell you what SFPs are compatible with the 5760. So you don't have to have a 10 gig SFP to get it to work. So I'm going to create a port channel. And again, I'm going to put it in LACP. Go into the port channel and switchport mode trunk. It looks like on these new 5760 and 3850 that it no longer supports ISL trunks, so you don't have to say what kind of trunk it is anymore. So like on the 3850, you had to go in and say that it's a .1Q trunk. This newer stuff doesn't seem to, you don't have to enter that anymore. Alright, so let's look and see if that port channel's up now. Alright, so big P is it's in a bundle, so we have a port channel now with the switch. So these APs should be able to reach across and hit this 5760. So show AP join stats summary, I believe, is what we want to enter. Alright, so we got the two APs have joined. And I'm going to do a show AP status. The APs are in local mode, so they should be broadcasting. Show AP summary, I believe. It's another good one to show MAC addresses and their state. So these APs are downloading code, so it's going to take them a little while to do their magic. Alright, it looks like the APs have downloaded their code and are back up. So I'm going to take my laptop here and I'm going to see if we have a SSID broadcasting. Yep, I see it. It's interesting, I only see one of them now. Show AP. It looks like one of the radios is disabled. There, I see it on these two. Not sure why I don't see the 5 gigahertz stuff. I'm trying to do this through parallels with a USB adapter is probably the issue. Alright, so I'm gonna join my phone here to the network and let's see what it does. Alright, so there I am, I joined. Alright, that's how you set up a controller 5760 with a simple switch config and a couple access points. Not too detailed, but for testing that should be a quick dirty way to get them up. Thanks.